All right, we are ready to begin. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Steven from Tostemac, and welcome to another special guest live stream. And let me tell you, you're not going to believe how big of a special guest we have. As a matter of fact, I don't think I believe it. Today we have someone from an organization called Best Buddies, which, if you don't know, it's a nonprofit organization to help the IDD community, or at least that's a short version. And we have a global ambassador with us along with his parent. So, please give a warm welcome for Mr. Shivam Talwar and his mother, Miss Rashmi Talwar. How's it going?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Steven. How are you?
Oh, doing great. How are you two doing? Had a good day so
Fan-
far?
Fantastic. We're doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to have you guys here. So, now we've known each other for quite a few years now. I got introduced to the Best Buddies with the Friendship Walk in like 2022. We worked on a video project.
Mhm.
And I know I've seen you guys in several of the fundraisers. But for those who may not know who you are, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourselves and like, what are your interests? What goals are you working towards?
All right, I'll go for it. Hi, my name is Rashmi, and first and foremost, I am a proud parent, actually a mother of two amazing kids, Tawana, my daughter, who's my heart, and Shivam, right here, um, who's my little baby. And I'm a parent advocate, a volunteer, and also a chapter co-advisor with Best Buddies Colorado.
Nice, that's awesome. So what about you, Shivam?
Hi, my name is Shivam. I am a proud advocate for friendship and inclusion. I am
Nice.
Colorado's, thank you. I am Colorado's first state ambassador working to become a global ambassador with Best Buddies.
Nice. That's awesome. Sounds like you two have quite a lot sorry, let me get my words right. Sounds like you two have accomplished quite a lot during your time with Best Buddies.
We sure have. It's been 9 years with Best Buddies, and we cannot tell you how grateful we are.
Wow. Awesome. All right. So, our first question is that a lot of people in Colorado may know you two from your time with Best Buddies. I mean, you've been around for like 9 years. A lot of people know who you two are. Um, so a question right out the gate is, how were you two first introduced to Best Buddies, and how has the journey been up until now?
We were introduced to Best Buddies at Castle View High School, where there was a chapter already in place, and our lives have not been the same ever since we've joined Best Buddies. It started out as an opportunity, to make friends, but it became a place where Shivam found acceptance, belonging, and obviously his confidence.
Yeah, like she said, my mom and Miss Erin introduced me to the Best Buddies chapter at our high school, and that's where my Best Buddies journey began. And from then on, it has grown. I became like maybe started as a member, then I became a champion, then I became a state ambassador.
So it's taken us places.
Nice. So it sounds like at first it was, something to join to make new friends, but it sounds like, later on you guys got more involved with a lot of the other things, like the Champion of the Year fundraiser, which is the biggest one the Best Buddies has every year.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then like I know I see you every year with the
The
friendship
French walk,
walks.
yeah, we sure
Um
have.
yeah, Friendship Walk's a very popular event for Best Buddies. So, what is it in particular about the Friendship Walk that you two really like?
Well, the first and most important thing is it's a free for everyone, right? It's in a public place where anyone can come and participate and get information about what actually Best Buddies stands for, what this organization is and is all about. And also being a public open place, you see people walking around with their families, and it's a part of our community. And when you see there's all these booths set up and all these people in these shirts and all different abilities out there walking, talking, having fun, and being a part of our community, which is the most important thing because like I said, it's so important that people understand that just because someone has an IDD, it doesn't mean that um, they don't want to be a part of a community. They don't want to belong. They want to be able to be accepted, right?
Hmm.
So when you host it in a public place that is accessible to everyone, you see what it means to for us as a community, as to be a part of something bigger than that.
Yeah, because like I know when I first started, like, not just with like Best Buddies, but also like with back with scouting back in Maryland, where it's
Mhm.
like it originally started out for me as like, just making friends, trying to be like a part of a community, part of like a group. And it's like it makes such a big difference. Like when you find that group of people that accept you for you and, you
Don't
fit
judge
right
you.
in with
Yeah,
them. And it's like
yeah.
you can just like feel this, not only just a heartwarming welcome, but also this like sense of belonging. And
Yes.
the simple things like, friendships and sense of belonging, those little things can go a really long way. And
Mhm.
it's certainly come a long way for you too.
It sure has. Like it's like I said, this we had no idea about this organization till we found out about it in Castle View High School. And I tell you, I have no words to express my gratitude. It's changed not just my son's life, because he is, a child with special needs, and but also me as a parent, the support system, the fact that you see your child happy and grow and, you know, can be himself without being judged and being accepted for who he is, that makes a world of a difference for a parent.
Oh, absolutely. My mom can definitely attest to that. Um, so the next question we have, Shivam, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yes.
All right. So for you, we
Uh-huh.
know you as a state ambassador for Best Buddies, well known
Yeah.
in Best Buddies in Colorado, but there are some that may not know that you have an amazing talent with music, being able to play beautiful musical pieces on the piano, which I've actually seen firsthand quite a few times. So, this
Yes.
question is, what got you into your love for music?
Oh, that is incredibly easy. It's my mom who has been introducing me to the music. So this is because music has been the greatest gift of my life. From a very young age, I found comfort and joy playing my toy keyboard. But over time, my music became my voice and a way to express my emotions. I have been
Nice.
I have been and to showcase that talented that doesn't and it does not have any limits when passionate can become nurtured.
So, for me, I think music is calming and it just puts you at ease. And there's just something about listening to music. So I had introduced music to Shivam when he at a very young age. I think probably when he was maybe a couple of months old. Um, and I think as he grew, his passion for music became, it grew with time and age. And I've seen him grow so much because of that. I've seen him be happy and I've seen him being able to express himself more through that through that particular, talent of his by performing and playing and and just listening. I mean, he's so talented and so blessed that he can play by ear. He listens to music on the radio, and next thing you know is you give him a keyboard and he's just playing. He doesn't even need to practice. He doesn't need to even have music in front of him. If he likes something, it's just a blessing and a gift, and that's where he thrives from, and he's able to um, share his passion and advocate for himself through that piece.
Yeah, I've actually, I remember all the way back when I was making a video for you guys for the Champion of the Year Gala.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget when I saw Shivam perform a music piece on the piano for the first time. I'm listening to his music, and I'm like, wow, this guy is so good. He must have practiced a lot. And then, like, when I don't know if it was me or someone else, someone had asked Shivam, like, how long did he practice, or like, how long did he listen to the music for? And correct me if I'm wrong, but you heard that music the day before, correct? And was able to
Yes.
play? Yeah, it's like I still can't, even to this day, I still can't wrap my head around it. Where it's like you take a music piece, sometimes a complex music piece, and like being able to pick up on the notes, like the individual notes that are played and how they come together, and being able to play that for yourself on the piano. It's like, it feels like a very rare talent,
What do you think?
Thank you, Mr. Steven. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like I will never forget that. It's like it's one of those things where it's like you think you see or hear everything, and then
Then you
something
say
like this
something.
comes along, and it's like, oh wow.
Like I said, he is definitely blessed with this talent, and it's opened doors for him. It's his way of expressing his passion and his love, for music. So, if he likes the piece and he wants to play it, he'll play it. And if he doesn't like a piece, and you can be begging him, and you're like, nope, not happening. So.
Yeah, to each their own. And it's like one of the things that, Shiva mentioned about music, where it's like it's not just about listening to it, it's being able to express yourself through the music. And it's like it's kind of the difference between like just listening to music and, in my opinion, kind of feeling the music, where it's like it could be like, oh, this is a cool music to listen to, but like then there are those where it's like you really take a good listen to it, and you listen to the lyrics, you understand the emotions, you feel the mood of what the instruments are setting and whatnot. It's like all of these different elements coming together to like form this beautiful composition. So it's really cool that you were introduced to music at a very young age.
Yeah.
And you've been able to use music to help express yourself ever since?
Yes. And
What do you do every day?
I play the keyboard.
If you can't find him in the house, I know where to find him. You just follow the music.
Well, that's a good way to keep track of someone then.
Yep. That's a great way to experience. And sometimes I'd be telling what the piece was.
And then he loves playing this game with everyone. So
it's kind of similar to what like Kevin does with me every weekday morning.
Okay, so I don't think Steven knows who Kevin is, so let's do one thing.
So who is Kevin?
He's a host on CPR Classical.
Oh, so Shivam is an avid listener to
Colorado Public Radio Classical.
There you go.
Okay. Nice. So, like, I've seen you perform at the gala. Have there been like other like events or venues that you've performed your music in?
Yes, I used to play at my old day program at Wellspring at every Friday morning before morning huddle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because Miss Pam.
Yep, he gets asked to play there. And where else have you performed, Shivam? Besides there. Oh, at his graduation ceremony.
Yes, I actually played at my graduation ceremony for
that's awesome.
Yep, his principal had asked him to come in early before graduation and welcome the guests, serenade the guests.
Yes.
There you go. Yep.
All right, cool.
And all the friends and family.
Yep.
Hello, Space Ace Fairly Girl. Space Ace Fairly Girl says hi to everybody. We also got like Sharon Starkey. She's actually from Autism Vision of Colorado, so good to see you here too. Nice. And we also got like Retro, Michael Skyline. Actually got quite a few people here. So thank you all for watching it live. Let's see. Let's move on to the next question. So you mentioned about Castleview High School, where you were first introduced to Best Buddies. They actually had a chapter there. Um, and I've also seen both of you work in that school a few times before. So, in what ways has the school been helping special needs individuals in recent years? Because you two go to that high school a lot more than I do. Unfortunately, I'm a little too old for grade school at this point. Still miss those days.
Castleview has played an incredible role, in Shivam's growth. So when we joined Castleview, the Best Buddies chapter was already in place, and I can tell you, it's created an environment for our students of all abilities, where they feel they're welcomed, they're valued, they're celebrated. The teachers there, the staff there, the admin there, student leaders, volunteers, they all work together to build genuine friendships and meaningful inclusion for sure. And then watching, for me as a mother and also as a staff member there, watching my son, walk through those halls with confidence and with the big smile plastered on his face, that's something every parent wants to see, because he found friends, he found people who accepted him for who he is, and that comes when you have a community that believes in inclusion and acceptance of all, and that's every parent's dream, right, Chip?
Yep. Because I have found genuine friendships and acceptance at Castleview. So this proof is that I've also been a volunteer TA in the recent years, and I get to work with two amazing Spanish teachers, Mrs. Reyes and Mr. Rodriguez, who have encouraged me to continue my love for the languages by practicing it in a classroom setting while helping the other students master it.
So Castleview has, even though he's graduated from there, I mean, everyone knows him, from staff members to students, and it's such a beautiful setting that you can see how much inclusion is valued and practiced in daily life and every day in Castleview High. Is the fact that they allowed Shivam to be a volunteer TA. So his love for languages, continues to grow as he tends to, use that skill to help others. And not every school does that. So that's how much it means to us to be a part of Castleview High. And we couldn't thank, Miss Erin Newton, who was our chapter leader, his case manager, and my coworker that I work with, that made it possible, because she was the one who ran this chapter at of Best Buddies at Castleview, and that's how I became involved and how Shivam became involved. And we've seen over the years how much it has impacted so many other students, not just my son.
Yeah, and you've touched on some very good points, like everybody in the school getting involved in this, because like it's one thing to talk about supporting special needs in schools, but it's like it's kind of like that phrase where it's like it takes a community to raise an autistic. It also takes a community to foster a great school environment for students from all walks of life, special needs or otherwise. So it's like when you get like the teachers, the supervisors, the counselors, when you get everyone in charge of the school involved with creating this environment for special needs individuals, it makes such a big difference. And it's not just about like, running after school programs or like making sure all the services and needs are met. There's also, the simple things like, having students included, or like simply checking on the students, like, how's it going, how's school going, you're like, do you need help with anything? It's like sometimes it's the smaller things here and there that lead to like much better environments, and it's like it sounds like Castleview High School has really hit all the marks in terms of like creating this amazing environment for special needs individuals. And Shivam, you mentioned about, helping other instructors and helping students learn Spanish. Now, I've heard about this during the ambassador meetings, but remind me and for the audience, how many languages can you speak?
I can speak 4 languages.
4 languages. My God. Like I have a hard time keeping up with 2, like English or Spanish. And I only know like a little bit of Spanish here and there to help get by, like ¿Qué haces hoy? Or ¿Cómo estás? Or like or even ¿Dónde es el baño?
Oh,
Just
that's
a little
okay.
bits here and there.
You, I know he's aching to you want to fix that? You want to
It's okay. It's okay. You're doing pretty good, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you.
you can see him twiggle and like, okay, you try to pronounce something. If I mispronounce something, like, I get caught, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like at my workplace, there are some customers here and there that speak mainly Spanish. So it's like it's a good opportunity for me to, practice on my Spanish, but at the same time, it's like there are sometimes that say "Cómo se dice?" insert English words in español, so I can make sure I get
Don't worry. Well,
Also, hey Faith,
so.
good to see you.
There we go, right? I'm the same like you, Stephen. Don't worry about it. I can only pick up here and there, but mostly it's like I'll push him forward. Here you go. Here, talk to him, and he'll translate for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll never forget what someone said to me a while back. Like, learning another language is like playing the piano. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And hence the reason for him to keep his practice going, his love and passion for the language. So I said it's so important that, you continue using it. And we're really lucky that in this country, Spanish is such, it's one of the second, largest speaking, so it's the second largest spoken language basically in our country. So it's so important that you keep up with it, because if we can help, translate, and if we can, again, that comes into inclusion and acceptance. So just because you might not be fluent in English, or you struggle in certain words, because you're not, English is not your first language, having someone who speaks their language, and that with such fluency, it's such a gift. And then again, it comes back to the point that no one would think like Shivam, because he has a disability, can have that talent, can have that passion. But there again, we can prove people wrong. Like, no, he is capable. He does. He does have passions like everybody else. He does have a love for, different things in life, just like any other normal human being. So why do we need to segregate them? Why do we need to, rule them out, or just assume that they can't do it? So that's what our mission is, to make sure that people don't undermine anyone with a disability, because they too, like everybody else, have feelings, have passions, have desires, have things that they excel at. So let's give them an opportunity and a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's great that you two are working on helping other people learn other languages, because like one of the biggest hurdles that people would have to overcome is like, the communication barrier, whether it be,
Yes.
English, Spanish, French,
French.
or what's that language where it's a language that the blind people use, and there's these series of
Braille.
dots. Huh?
Yep, Braille.
Braille, that's it. Braille, that's it. And it's like, it could be hard for a lot of people to like, articulate what they want to convey, but it's like once you get that communication going, then you start to form those connections, then you start to see things grow and whatnot. So yeah, like communication is like, very essential, whether it be, the spoken language or like a nonverbal language.
Sign language whatsoever, right? I mean, it's your way of expression. It's your way of
Exactly.
communication.
Yeah, so it's some very important work that you two are doing. All right, so
Thank you.
yeah, so we got another question for Shivam. One of the biggest accomplishments with Best Buddies is becoming an ambassador, and there's like 2 different levels: a state ambassador and a global ambassador. So what has the experience been to be a state ambassador? And I'm definitely not asking this because I recently became a state ambassador myself. Definitely not looking for notes or advice.
Well,
Hey, Stephen, I joined that line with you, remember?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
that's what
Okay, I'll send it. Don't worry.
How could I forget?
I have never imagined incredibly possible. Because today I am proudly serving as Colorado's first state ambassador and now working towards becoming a global ambassador.
Nice. So, if
Well,
memory serves correctly, you being an ambassador for Best Buddies means you
yes,
go to events, do some public speaking.
yep.
But what
Sometimes play
other
the piano.
Huh? Sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes play the piano.
That too. Can't forget that. But what other parts are there with being a Best Buddies ambassador? Is it like
Well,
just for public events, or is it also for how you act outside of the events?
it's also how I act outside of the events because as you know,
Mhm.
because I've been
How do you act when you're at your day program? How do
like
you
at Wellspring, yes, for example.
Mhm.
I try to be inclusive and say just to make sure have everyone's going so far so good and to make sure that everyone gets their needs and their wishes too.
So what do you do when you're in public?
Like
what are responsibilities? What do you
like to be a good friend and to do your best and to be a hero.
So what are responsibilities as ambassadors when we are in the community? What are
Like to act very politely, to have really good manners. Also to make sure that everyone has a want or a say. And
is that what you're asking, Stephen?
Yeah. So, sorry, let me get my words right. So it's like, being an ambassador and like being a leader is not just about, giving speeches or like, encouraging people to get stuff done. It's also about, the smaller things like, checking up on people, seeing if they're all right, seeing if they're included, like you mentioned. Having good manners, good behaviors. Because I remember one or two of the meetings that we had during this Ambassador Academy program is that there are many different kinds of leadership. There's not just one. It's not just like leader and follower and that's it. There's like different ways to lead. Like for me, I learned I was a visionary, so I plan out these big ideas and like encourage other people to follow these ideas and stuff. Now, what kind of leadership would you say yours is like, Shivam?
I think I'm like a connector because
You like to what?
I like to connect with people and just
And what?
I like
Are you thinking about words to say?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I did kind of go off script a little bit. Sorry.
I just Steven, it's fine.
He's such a social person. And he's very empathetic. I'll tell you that. Like he cannot see anyone sad or left angry, upset, left alone by themselves. He has to go and make sure everyone is happy. He likes to go check in on people, even if they'll say, "Hey, we need some space." He's a very people person, and he's very empathetic. And I think that's the beauty in Shivam is he wants to make sure that everyone is okay and everyone feels the happiness that he feels every day, and he wants to check in on them and make sure that hey, if there's anything he can do to uplift them or make them happy or even just sit by their side, he's more than happy to do that. So that's what I've observed about him.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's like, some of the things we mentioned before where it's like sometimes it's the little things like, checking up on people, make sure they're okay, or like maybe listen to, some of the things that's going on in their minds where it's like it's those little things that, make such a significant difference, Looks like we got a question from Michael Skylion. Let's see. His question is for both of you, what inspired you to join the Best Buddies program, and are you enjoying the time of the program? I think we talked about this a little bit, where it's like, it originally started out with Shivam trying to find friends and you guys trying to find this community to be a part of. But what is it about Best Buddies in particular that got you to stay, that got you more committed to their mission?
So first and foremost, thank you so much for your question. We weren't aware of any of these organizations. You know, when we moved to Colorado, it was a new state for us. Did not have friends or family here. School was our, you know, basically like any other student, it's our second home. And in order for both my kids, you know, to find friends and, you know, try to fit into a new community, especially at a high school, um, we just happened to find Best Buddies because Best Buddies chapter was already at Castleview, and we didn't even feel the need to look into any other organizations because it was right there in front of us, already established in the high school that where both my students, both my kids were attending, and I happened to start working at the same school, and it just opened so much, so many doors for us. It just showed us that what a difference an organization that caters to the IDD community can have an impact, especially when you have a child with, you know, special needs, especially when you are moving into a different state with where there's no one that you know and you're trying to build, you know, relationships and connections and trying to find your place. So for us, Best Buddies was the first organization that we found, and it became our top priority, and it just became everything for us.
Yeah, moving from one state to another is never easy. Like
And that's
I've
for high
moved a couple
school. Can you
times and like,
imagine?
hmm? Oh, sorry, what's up?
That too, when my kids were in high school. Shivam was a freshman when we moved, and my daughter Tamana, she was a senior. So none of them were happy moving.
Oh yeah, like believe me, like when I first moved from California to Maryland back when I was a kid, I wasn't happy about that either. Like I graduated elementary school and it
Mhm,
was right after that we had to move to Maryland, and
mhm,
it was rough, you know,
mhm,
like it wasn't like you could bring all your friends with you.
mhm,
You had to like start from scratch, you had to make
mhm,
all these connections again. So like I lived in Maryland for a couple decades, made a lot of great friends, some I consider family. And then, like, you know, when I moved from Maryland to Colorado, I had to do
mhm,
it all over again because,
mhm,
like, I had to form connections, didn't have any friends in Colorado. It's like you
Sweet
would
mom.
think that moving from one place to another would get easier as life goes by, but the truth is, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't, especially when you are settled, and especially when you have a child with, you know, with IDD, it becomes even more tough because you can't just get up and go and, you know, join some sports or join something and then, you know, figure out, hey, things will work out. It becomes extra hard because, you know, you gotta find all the needs and all the what I'm trying to think of the right word, all the services your child might need, you know, and
Yeah.
it differs from state to state. So it's and you need an outlet for yourself as a parent, and that was another challenge because if you don't know other parents, you know, that have a child with special needs, it's really hard to figure out, hey, who's the right doctor, you know, who's your dentist, and you know, where do you take your kid for, you know, this therapy or that therapy, what's available out here. You need to have that little circle of people that can guide you and teach you.
Exactly, because like it's not like you could just ask a random person like, "Hey, where do I go to get services for special needs individuals?" And you know
Mm-hmm.
they may or may not know, or might point you in the wrong direction. Like it's really important to, you know, find that circle of people, um, you know, where you can fit in, make those connections again. And like you mentioned, like, you know, moving from one place to another, especially for an autistic or a special needs individual, it can
Mm-hmm.
be pretty rough. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
should make an autism video about that. But we'll a little about that later. But yeah, it's like it can be very challenging. Um so let's see. The last question we have here, and of course, if anyone watching this live has any questions of their own, feel free to leave it in the chat. Um, the last question I've written here is for both of you. If there is any special message you want to get out to the world, like something you want to tell people who are either watching this live or watching it later, what would it be?
If there is one message we hope everyone takes away, it is inclusion changes lives. Every person deserves to be
Seen,
Every person deserves to be
heard,
Every person deserves to be
valued, and every person deserves to be successful.
given the opportunity to be successful. So we should not judge a book by its cover, That's what we would like to say.
I love that you two, it seems like you two rehearsed that. It's like you knew
That's what
exactly
we
what to
did.
say at the right moment. So, yeah,
I
A plus
wanted-
on that one.
I wanted it, the impact to be from Shivam because he's my world. He's my little angel. He's a blessing that I tell you keeps giving. And I am who I am because of my kids. And I have a soft corner for him is because he's taught me to be a better human being. And like I said, I can get emotional talking about it because I'm a parent. I'm his mother, and he and my daughter are the two best parts of me. But I can't tell you enough. It's not easy to raise a kid with special needs, even in today's world, and even with all, the facilities and the therapies we have. But I'll tell you one thing, it's a blessing. I yell at him every day. We butt heads every day, but there is not a single day when he doesn't tell me that he loves me. There's not a single day that goes by that I don't feel lucky and blessed. And if this community could understand that individuals with IDD, they too have dreams, they have talents, and they have the potential, to be the best that they can. But this community needs to believe in them and give them that chance. And that is key. That's what every parent like me wants and wishes that everybody would understand.
And as a child with disabilities, I have to say the same thing with my mother because she's a part of my world too. Because if it weren't for her, I wouldn't.
You are going to be fine. All right. That's what we need to say, Steven.
If only I could just
And then
transfer over a box of tissues over the internet. Faith
I'll tell
says,
you
"Oh,
something.
that's so sweet."
He's a sweetheart. We will just say one more thing. There are so many other organizations out there, but I'll tell you one thing: Best Buddies has done so much for us and so much for so many other people. I have seen my students thrive. I have seen my gen ed kids come back again and again every year to build these bonds and to continue, on this journey with them. And what makes me happy is that when we see these gen ed kids out in the community, and they see our students or they have been a part of Best Buddies, they know how to welcome them. They know how to appreciate them. They know how to make them feel seen and feel a part of our community. And that is a blessing.
That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's like, I think it's like with a lot of families in general where it's like we butt heads every now and then, but it's like, we still love each other in the end, the love's what matters, and for Shivam, let's say there is an IDD individual or special needs individual that's like either going through grade school or college time that may be watching this now or later. If there was anyone like that who was watching this, and if you had any advice that you want to give to them, what would it be?
I would say to just join Best Buddies, and it's going to change life for the better.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, so let's see. Michael Skyline says, "Thanks for answering my question, and thank you for being such an amazing guest." Let's see. Faith says, "I feel the same way about moving. I'm actually moving from Illinois, where I mainly grew up in Nevada. It's a big change, but at least I'm closer to extended family." And yeah, it's nice to have extended family to a place where you're moving at, but it's like, it makes it a little bit easier, but not that much, because again, you gotta reform those connections.
Mm-hmm.
let's see, I still got time for like any last minute questions from the chat. And while I'm waiting on those, I do want to say, Shivam and Miss Rashmi, thank you so much for like taking the time to be a part of this live stream, sharing your stories. And it's like, just listening to these stories, like, how you started with moving here and, all the friends and connections you made, how you're helping with the communities and like how far you two have come since then. It's like, it's absolutely inspiring, where it's like, just hearing like where you got started, how you joined Best Buddies, and how you two have grown with this organization, and in turn helping the organization grow since then. Like, it is absolutely amazing. And it's like, I'm really excited that we got the opportunity to do this. And it's like to hear your stories and having your stories out there for other families that may be going through, similar struggles, or like, trying to accomplish something. It's stories like these, stories like yours, that makes such a big difference, that gives other families hope and encouragement that, things can get better and there are things we can do to make the communities we live in a better place. So for real, like, for both of you, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for first and foremost thinking of us. I know there's so many other people you could interview, but we've made this connection for over the years, and we really appreciate the fact that you took the time. And before we go, I do want to say a little bit more about this organization. Not only has it impacted, our lives, me as a parent and Shivam, now that he's a participant and he's an ambassador going for that, but it's an organization that not just, it's more than just friendship that, it talks about. It creates opportunities, it builds confidence, it develops leaders and open doors to so much more, like employment and supports families. And I can go on and on, but we are incredibly grateful to be a part of such an it's a tribe. We are so grateful to be a part of this incredible organization, and like you are a part of it. So you too can assert to this, is that it makes such a difference in the lives of not just the individuals but also the families and the impacts in our community. And the more our communities open their hearts, to organizations like this and accept people with IDD, I think the better this world will be. And from Shivam and I, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking a topic that, stirs a lot of emotions and talks to a lot of hearts. But it's so important that people understand that an individual with IDD also deserves the same amount of respect and acceptance as any other individual in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like we got one more question from Faith. She's asking, how how did you two join Best Buddies? So it sounds like at the school you already met Best Buddies, who was like well established. So is it just a matter of like finding those local chapters in the state in question? Is there like something you gotta go on a website for, or?
So thank you so much, Faye. That's an amazing question. Yes, it depends on, I don't know which state you are in right now, but Best Buddies has chapters all over in a lot of states. You can go to the Best Buddies website. I don't have it memorized on the back of my hand, but it's bestbuddies.org. And you can, in the pull-down menu, you can look at all the states that it has established, chapters in. And it's not just high schools. It's not just now middle schools. We have chapters for citizens, which are kids or adults that are now more than over 21. So this organization has many different ways that you can connect with and figure out what will work for you, what will not. Shivam is a part of not citizens, but eBuddies, which is online. So if you know someone that can't go in person and attend things, they can attend what is it? I lost my chain of thought. They can join this group online and connect with people online. So there are many different ways to connect.
Nice. So it's like you go to bestbuddies.org, look at the
Yep.
list of states
Yep.
where they have chapters in,
Mhm.
and then, find events they go to. And you also mentioned eBuddies too, where they
Yes.
can make friends online?
Yes, they can. So eBuddies is an online platform that they have. So you can join through that, and they will match you with people friends online, so you can connect through there. And we have movie nights, we have conversations about different topics, or they can connect one-on-one, they can connect via groups. There's a lot of different ways they can do this.
That's awesome. All right, so that's awesome. It's definitely good to know for our viewers who want to
Mhm.
join Best Buddies. Definitely
Mhm.
consider it. We all highly recommend it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's
All right.
about it for our questions. So thank you all so much for watching this, whether you watch it live or later. And again, to Shivam and Ms. Rashmi, thank you so much for being part of this special guest live stream. It has been absolutely incredible hearing your stories, your accomplishments, and some of the things you're working on. It is absolutely incredible. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stephen. We appreciate you.
Yep.
No problem. We appreciate you
you.
too. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.